Okay. The Board of Electrologists and Body Art Practitioners meeting is convening at 9:03 a.m. on October 14th, 2024. This meeting is being held in person and by MS Teams video conference and is being recorded. The recording will be posted to the internet for public viewing. I will now call roll. Obviously, Audrey Jones, I'm here. Paul Thomas.
Present.
Matthew Holmes.
Present.
Nathan Morelli.
Here.
John Dickerson.
He's not attending today, Chair.
Okay. Rebecca Flom.
Here.
Brian Gooden.
Present.
Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the record. Board members are asked to not use the chat feature during meetings. The Health Licensing Office asks that individuals attending through MS Teams keep your phones muted and cameras off during the entire meeting or until you're given an opportunity to comment during the public and interested parties feedback period, if indicated on the agenda. Public members wishing to speak must first sign in on the roster sheet available or email Josh Page at josh.page@oha.oregon.gov and provide your first and last name. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and protocols when conducting board business. This meeting is called to order.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I am Bob Bothwell. I'm the director of the Health Licensing Office. And welcome on this beautiful Monday morning. Chair, we need, stand by, please. The chair and members of the board, I would like to pause this for a few minutes to address something. Hey, good morning, everybody. Again, this is Bob Bothwell with the Health Licensing Office. And we had to take a break to get some public members that surprised us here at the office this morning into the office and change our location. So, Chair, are you with us?
I'm here.
Audrey, could you please call roll again to make sure we have all the board members in attendance, and you don't have to call John again.
Okay, let me pull up that sheet. Just navigated away. Okay. All right, I will now call roll. Audrey Jones, I'm here. Paul Thomas.
Present.
Matthew Holmes.
Present.
Nathan Morelli.
Present.
Rebecca Flom.
Present.
Brian Gooden.
Present.
All right, thank you, Chair. Sorry, everybody, for the interruption. Hope it didn't take too much time for y'all. Chair, the first item we need to take care of is have a motion for approval of the agenda. If we get one of the board members to approve the agenda and another to second it.
Okay. This is Audrey Jones. I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Chair, I'm sorry, you cannot make the motion.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Dang
It's been a
moment.
minute. Yes.
This is Nathan Morelli. I move to make a motion to approve the agenda.
This is Matthew Holmes. I second.
Thank you, Matthew.
Okay, here's where I come in now, right? A motion has been made. I'll call roll. All right. And then I go back to this one. Paul Thomas.
Move to approve.
Matthew Holmes.
Aye.
Nathan Morelli.
Aye.
Rebecca Flom.
Aye.
Brian Gooden.
Aye.
And Audrey Jones, aye.
Okay,
And then, yeah, awesome.
it is approved. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the introduction of a couple of new board members. Brian, if you want to come on camera and introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Gooden. I'll be the healthcare representative. I'm a public health nurse with a background in infection control.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And Rebecca?
Hi, I'm Rebecca Flom. I'm a tattoo artist, and yeah, I'll just be bringing that perspective.
Okay, Chair, you want to introduce yourself real quick, please? And we'll go down the list.
Hello, I'm Audrey Jones, and I am an electrologist in Portland, Oregon.
Paul?
Hello there, I'm Paul Thomas. I'm a tattoo artist in Pearson, Portland, Oregon as well.
Matthew?
Sorry, just a sec. All right, sorry about that. Dogs are going wild. This is Matthew Holmes. I don't have a camera set up, but I'm a tattoo artist and piercer here in Oregon.
Thank you. Nathan?
Nathan Morelli. I'm a piercer on the Oregon coast in Newport, Oregon.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do a couple here in the office. Again, I'm Bob Bothwell. I'm the director. Been here 12 years, and I started here as the regulatory operations manager. Tina, I see your smiling face up there. You want to introduce yourself, please? And you might be muted.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tina Russell. I'm the licensing manager, and I've been here 28 years.
And Derek?
Hi, everybody. My name is Derek Foltz. You might know me from board member recruitment, but I've transitioned into a new role, so you will be hearing from somebody else soon.
And you have a camera back there, Josh?
I don't, I can wait.
And there's Josh way in the back there.
I'm Josh. I've been with the HLO for 2 months now. I'm the board specialist.
And Trampus Shuck.
Hello, everybody. I'm Travis Sheck. I'm the interim regulatory manager. I've been with the office for about 16 years, and welcome.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. So the next item on the agenda, Chair, if everybody's had an opportunity to review the board meeting dates, we have 9 a.m. February 24 of 2025 and 9 a.m. October 20 of 2025. Is there any discussion with regards to these dates?
This is Matthew Holmes. I move to approve the upcoming meeting dates.
If we can get a second. Second.
This is Paul Thomas, I second.
Okay.
A motion has been made, and I'll call roll. Audrey Jones, I approve. Paul Thomas,
I approve.
Matthew Holmes,
Aye.
Nathan Morelli,
Aye.
Rebecca Flom,
Aye.
Brian Gooden.
Aye.
Okay.
This is Matthew Holmes. Am I reading this correctly? February is my last board meeting?
Give me a minute. I was just getting to that.
Oh, gosh.
So that's correct.
Oh, that's a sad day.
Yes, it is. So I will continue on with that track, Chair, if you don't mind, with the board member recruitment and everybody's standings. Audrey, current chair, first term expires March 14th, 2025, and Audrey can reappoint. Paul Thomas is in a first term as well. Current term expires June 29 of 2026, and Paul can reappoint. We already know about Matthew. Sorry, Matthew. Nathan Morelli, first term, it expires March 28 of 2027, and Nathan can reappoint. John Dickerson, who's not with us today, he's in his first term. It expires April 30, 2027, and John can reappoint. Rebecca is in the first term. And I think this date might be wrong. It says it expires June 30 of 2025. Rebecca, you can reappoint. And Brian Gooden is in a first term. It expires June 30 of 2028, and Brian can reappoint. So with that being said, we need to have a discussion with regards to chair and vice chair. So Audrey has been served as chair, and Paul was has been the vice chair since all of for all of 2024. And as you see, the chair does a lot of speaking throughout the board meeting. It calls the meeting to order, does roll call. We'll do other script reading for public interest parties' feedback and adjourning executive session if necessary. Paul is able to reappoint. He was the vice chair, but anybody can nominate themselves or another to be chair.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say anything or whatnot, but I don't mind like keeping the role if no one else is interested. It's not a burden.
I would like to nominate myself for vice chair for sure. This is Paul Thomas.
Okay, so Audrey, and that's great. We'll just typically we do it once, but if everybody votes you in as chair again, we can keep you on through the February meeting, and then in February we would nominate and vote for a new chair.
I'll leave it up to the team for what they want to decide.
This is Matthew Holmes. I'm not sure how much I've got to chime in on this, my time being as short as it is. I personally have no issue with it staying how it's been for the last year with Audrey and Paul. That's my 2 cents worth, and the rest of it's up to you guys.
Any additional discussion, or sounds like that was a motion?
I have no issue with Audrey continuing. It's great.
So Matthew, was that a motion?
Yes, sir. It's Matthew Holmes. I make a motion to approve Audrey Jones as the chairman of the board.
I second the motion. Oh, Nathan Morelli, I second the motion.
This is Audrey Jones. A motion's been made, and I'll go ahead and call roll. Audrey Jones, I agree. Let me pull up my list. Oh my gosh, I'm so unorganized. Paul Thomas,
Aye.
Matthew Holmes,
Aye.
Nathan Morelli,
Aye.
Rebecca Flom,
Aye.
Brian Gooden.
Aye.
All right. Thank you for that, everybody. So, in continuing with the board member recruitment, in the documents that were sent to you by Josh, There's some hyperlinks in there. One is for overview of boards and commission. That is required training. It's a term. If you just log into the Workday and click on any of these links, it'll take you where you need to go. There's an annual training, information security training foundations, and preventing discrimination and harassment. Those are annual trainings. So if you haven't done it for 2024, please do so. And then you'll have to do it again for 2025. There's also an optional ethics training from Oregon Ethics Commission. And if you haven't taken it, I would. It's actually a pretty good class. Gives you some training, gives you some insight into what is expected, what you can and cannot do as board members. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Moving on. So if you're following along online, we're on slide 13 of the board report. And on slide 14, we have the number of tattoo artist licenses issued. And for the new board members, the state runs on fiscal years, and that is between July 1 of any particular year to June 30 of the following year. So we've issued 103 licenses in Q1, and that is July, August through September. Those are new licenses for tattoo artists. 5 new standard body piercing license in Q1. Earlobe piercing technicians, 21 in Q1. Electrologists, 7 new licenses. And on slide 18, we have the number of licenses renewed. Had 309 online and 103 on paper. And for anybody listening, HLO prefers them to be online. Standard body piercing, specialty level piercings. In Q1, we've had 25 online, 5 by paper. Earlobe piercing technician renewals, 6 online, 3 by paper. Electrologists, 23 online, 5 by paper. Licensing trends, body art facilities, we have an average of 1,000 in Q1 of 2025. That's a slight increase from Q4 of 24. Earlobe piercing technicians, average of 112. Specialty piercings 1 and 2, we've had a slight decline to 19 in Q1, but that could increase. Electrologists, we have 102 on average. Tattoo artists, 2,439 on average. It's an increase. Standard body piercing, 90 licenses on average. That's an increase. And licensed by age and gender. And you can see on the far right, we have 6 individuals identifying as female between the age of 74 and 81. And a good portion of the, looks like the program is dominated by females, those identifying as female. For electrologists and body piercing, or excuse me, body art testing results are on slide 29. So by fiscal year 2025, we seem to be doing pretty good with a fair passage rate. Any questions so far? Okay, on slide 30 is the board's financials. Board has a beginning balance of $1,124,660 and revenues of 101,309, expenditures 82,141, net operations 18,168, and ending cash balance of 1,142,828. Any questions? They're making it too easy on me. Next slide, 31 is the regulatory report. Campus.
Hello, everybody again. Trampus Chuck here to talk about the regulatory report. There's a lot going on this report. We got 3 biennium showing up on this report. Overall, over those 3 biennium, we've had 217 complaints come in from all kinds of various sources. As you can see on the top section of that particular graph, you can see the cases open or closed. You can see that of the 2021 biennium, all but 6 are closed out of the 109 that came in. The 2023 biennium, which is this last one that we kind of finished up here recently, 16 of the 55 are still open. And then in the current biennium, we've already had 53 complaints, and we're only partially way through. So we'll see how that number plays out in the end. I don't know if 2023 was a small biennium or if it was, or if we're more on track for a normal biennium. But that's what we're looking at right now. You can see the complaints by type. We had quite a few licensing issues in 2021, not quite as many in the 2023 biennium, but you can see kind of how how we have different types of complaints. Back in the COVID days, we had the COVID complaints still showing up on that 2021 biennium and a little bit on the 2023 biennium. And then complainants by type is that little graph off to the right, and that one is 43 were anonymous, 26 were clients, and then 148 were other. Other is kind of a big category that can just be basically anybody that's not the client, or we know who they are, but they're not the client. So that could be another tattoo artist. That could be, just somebody from the community. It could be somebody who knows a client that maybe they felt they needed to file on their behalf. So it could be a lot of different things. But just gives you an idea of where they're coming in from. Does anybody have any questions about the regulatory report or about regulatory in general or inspections or anything like that?
Travis, for the new board members, can you cover the investigative process, complaint through final order, and then touch a little bit on inspections?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to complaints, so regulatory does a couple of different functions for this board. We deal with complaints coming in from, that's what you're looking at right here. But the other big piece of what we do regulatory with this board is we also do regular inspections in the facilities. So that's where we send our inspectors out, and they go and check out all of the facilities and make sure that the licensing and safety and sanitation issues are in line. So, in line with the rules. So that's one piece of it. This piece of it that we're talking about here on this report is complaint investigations. So whenever we get a complaint, they can be all kinds of various sources. They come in, by fax or by, email or mail or however. But they all come back here as a regulatory. And first we kind of look at them as is this complaint about something that we have jurisdiction over, So if we look at that complaint and we say, yes, if everything is true on this complaint, then there's a potential violation that we have regulatory authority over. So then it's kind of a baseline. It's like it's a low bar to kind of look at it and open it up. We have enough information. We always assign a number and get it in the system. But If we have kind of the jurisdictional, the first kind of wave of review, we'll open it up and we'll give it to an investigator. If that investigator, or it can also go, if it's just a straight up safety and sanitation or licensing within a facility, sometimes we'll send it off and we'll have an inspection done, and sometimes it'll go to an investigator. So it kind of just depends on the needs of that complaint. And the investigator will look into it and, try to figure out if they can, how to investigate it. They may do have an inspection. They may take information from interviews. They may take it, have pictures or whatever sent in. So they'll go through that whole process and, of course, talk to the person who the complaint is against. When they get all done with that, they turn it in to me for kind of a administrative review. Now, this board has a lot of civil penalties set in rule, so that's why you don't see as many complaints coming to the board for review, because you've already established that through the rulemaking process as to if somebody violates this rule, they have this civil penalty. So most of the complaints that we have fall into one of those groups, either licensing or safety sanitation, those kind of things. So they're all mostly set in civil penalty or set in rule what happens if somebody violates those rules. So I'll review it, and either it's going to just get closed because we find out that the rules haven't been violated, or we can't show that the rules have been violated. Or if the rules have been violated and it's set in civil penalty, then it goes through that process. That's what those cases are, open and closed, by the way. The open can mean it's being investigated. It could mean it's under my review. It could mean that it's waiting for a notice to go out. Or it could mean that in a very rare case, it has to be brought to the board and for review. And then once those things are done, that's when it's closed. There may still be some administrative stuff that happens on the back end after it's closed, but once we send out that notice or we decide that we haven't found a violation, that's where it gets closed. So once that happens, then that's when it closes, and that's it pretty much. Like I said, there's a little bit on the back end, and every once in a while we get a case where there's no civil penalty in rule, and that's where we have to bring it to the board for your advice and guidance on what to do. So that's kind of an overview of regulatory and complaints. Does anybody have any questions about that? Any of the new board members or any of the board members?
Okay. Seeing none, thank you, Trappist. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And thanks for the breakdown, Trappist. It's Matt Holmes.
All right, Chair. Next item on the agenda is public interested parties feedback. You have a script for this?
Let me find it. Oh, here it is. At this time, the Board of Electrologists and Body Art Practitioners will hear public and interested parties' feedback. Members of the public, please wait until you have been recognized. Once recognized, please state your name and affiliation to the board for the record.
Okay. We can start with any public members that are online. If you would wish to speak, please raise your hand. Don't see any. Hi, good morning. We have some ladies in the room, and if those of you who want to speak or those who will speak, please state your name and who you're affiliated with, please.
Okay, it's Amy Harley. I'm with the OALE on behalf of the Oregon Association of Licensed Electrologists. Go ahead. Okay, I had a couple questions. I had I had heard, you hear things through the grapevine, kind of that there'd been a change in barbicide that we can use. I don't know if it's just specific to electrologists. And I was thinking, just, there's word on the street is that, oh, the state doesn't let you know if any changes have been made. You just need to always go on and check and see if there've been changes to like laws or regulations or procedures. So I'm wondering if that, if that is the case, or if there is something in place to, okay, we're going to take away this regulation or add this, maybe at least like the president of the Oregon Electrology Association is notified, and so we can like disperse it to licensed members, or if the state is responsible for letting anyone know, because people probably aren't going to think to do that, but I think it would be in everyone's best interest if the state let us know and whatnot. Do you know about that?
Oh, sure. Typically, we, this is public comment, and so it's a question, which I'll answer it, but typically, just for the board and everybody's knowledge, comment, you give us your comment.
Okay.
And then we may or may not respond.
Okay.
Okay, but your question is, if there was a change, any change whatsoever, we would notify each licensed individual. We would put it on our website. There may be a FAQ put out also on our website. We do everything we can.
That's what okay.
And if there was a rule change, there's a chance that we would have a rules advisory committee meeting, and we would put the word out and went for this rules advisory committee meeting to discuss this and understand how the rule will impact the profession or anybody in the community.
Okay.
So to your question, I don't believe so.
Hey, Bob. Sammy's got her hand raised too.
Tammy, go ahead.
Hi, I did rulemaking for electrology about 2 years ago, and the standard protocol that we use is we send notification of any rules advisory committee, which there were several, to an interested parties list, which you can request to be on separately from being a licensee, and then we'll always notify a licensee. The thing is if you don't have your email address updated with us, then you're not going to be getting the information, because we don't send it through paper mail unless you specifically request it. So if you're not receiving like board meeting notices, then there's something going on with your email address in our licensing system, and that people should probably update that. We do have a form, I think, that you can fill out, and maybe we could blast out to all the electrologists so they can make sure it's updated.
And this is Tina. Sammy, I don't think anything changed when it comes to the way people disinfect.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I know I hadn't heard anything either, and a newer graduate had, was in my space. I have barbicide. I don't actually really use it, but I have it. And it was like, oh, you can't actually use this kind anymore. You have to, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not using it presently. I have it here. And, so there's just so much misinformation out there, unfortunately. So I kind of, how can we streamline this, or who do you go to find out the proper information?
Yes. And thank you for bringing it to us today.
Yeah.
And that's the most appropriate way. You can do it by phone call.
Mhm.
Or an email to Ann Thompson, who's the analyst for this program now, or Josh or myself.
Okay.
We're happy to get an answer back to you, but sometimes folks anecdotally just say something, or maybe it was something they learned that this is a better barbicide. Well, we don't advocate one way or the other, any product.
Sure. That makes sense. Okay.
So, yeah.
And then,
Thank you, Sammy, by the way. Welcome back.
Thank you. No problem.
as far as like, so the new program with doing the chair side teaching, training for electrologists. I guess I just have like, comments about that. Like, is there a limit on the number? I think I was just looking at it online, like you can do like 2 or 3 people. I'm just can you do chairside training, like if you're in Washington versus Oregon, if Oregon is a state? that's regulated versus Washington's not. If there's any like approved curriculum, I'm just interested in like maybe I want to do the training eventually, so I can research that more. But I do know a few people who are going through it currently, and it just, yeah, is there any type of like, here's a packet to how you train new? I'm just concerned about the industry in general with new people coming out and that level of education and. Yeah.
Sure. Sammy, I see your hand up. So we do have a new, former analyst for qualifications, has passed away last year. So we have a new analyst in her space, and it's Derek Foltz. So he's getting his legs up underneath him. But it looks like Sammy has her hand up, and she had her hand up. And
Yeah, I would just say that make sure that Josh gets your email address, and me or Derek or Ann can respond, because it sounds like you just don't have all of the information and it's kind of sporadic on the web and hard to find. We can point you in the right direction.
That'd be great. Thank you, Sammy. And Josh, I'm coming for you. Me too. Watch out for them. Thank you.
My pleasure. Was that all?
Yeah, yes, Brenda.
Well, I'm Brenda Cox, and I'm part of the Electrology Association also, but my questions are gonna have to be for afterwards.
Okay.
So I don't have that comment necessarily, so you guys are answering my questions on how to do it.
Okay.
So, thank you.
All right, so you got Josh's email.
No, but I'll get it.
You already know. Okay. Chair and board members, does anybody, I'm sorry, one more. Oh, good, okay, the quiet one that worries me.
Yeah.
Any chair and board members, anybody have any comment or anything with regards to public interested parties feedback? Okay. Seeing none. Any other board business, chair? Or board members?
I don't have anything.
Anything you need us to work on or want us to look into?
I don't think so. Anyone else have any topics that we should be looking at for next time?
Paul, saw you light up. Brian, you have your hand up?
Hi, Brian Gooden. I request a review of the OAR related to continuing education for tattoo artists. Looks like the state website has not been updated and kind of sends us in a circular pattern as far as using the CEU form from health licensing, which is no longer accepted by health licensing.
Okay. I'll look into it. We hadn't heard that, Paul, and we will take a look at it.
Paul, you might also want to email Callie Zink, and she can help you with the continuing education.
The question was from Brian Gooden, so you don't blame Paul.
I mean, Brian, sorry.
I'll get that email and get that sent off. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And this is Audrey Jones. I actually just thought of something too. I know that we just got some feedback about having information on how to become, an instructor. It's kind of hard to find. Is there any way that we could do a review of like the website and maybe make that link or that paperwork or all that information a little bit easier to find? Because I feel like we've heard that feedback several times now where people are like, how do I find out how to become an instructor? Like, it's obviously not well or easy to find on the website since we've been hearing it several times now.
Okay. We will take a look at it, and just so everybody's aware, that we have some control over the website, and OHA has the rest of the control. So the layout, configuration might be unable to change, but we'll definitely take a look at it.
Okay, great.
I'll have an answer for you February.
Okay.
Bob, can I make another comment or question? Sorry.
Yes, you can. We have one more.
About, I was, well, I
Name, please.
remembered Amy Harley, with the licensing. Brenda and myself had come down to Salem, and I renewed my license here. I hadn't gotten anything in the mail. And then it was like, oh, it's gonna lapse. So we came down here, we got it taken care of, and she hadn't received hers, and we were informed that I think it's a third party that you probably paid to send out our notification. So, you know, I'll check on my email, but she's been doing this for 30 years, so I know you have her email. So I was just surprised, you know, I was like, it was really close to it. So I don't know what that process is, or if it is a third party. I mean, they seem surprised at the front that like we hadn't gotten a notification. So I just wanted to put that in there.
So you're right, and I will answer this. It is somewhat third party.
Okay.
So we send the information to the party who needs to receive it, and then it goes out. But we have had some hiccups, and I apologize for that. And it's a continuous operation as we continue to grow and make sure, try our hardest to get them out to, it's 45 days in advance. That's typically.
Oh, that's typically, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll work hard. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but just so everybody is aware, we do that as a courtesy.
Okay.
But we take it very serious, so we really work hard to get it out there, but it's not 100% HLO's responsibility. So we put the expiration date on the license, and the last thing you do is pull your license out every day to see when your expiration is.
Right.
So.
Bob, I have a question. I'm hearing two different things. One, are you saying that you tried to renew online and with your PIN number, it didn't have your correct email address? Or that you actually did not get the notification in the mail?
I did not get a mailed notification. And then but I did get an emailed notification, really close to when it was expiring. So I was like, oh, I need to get on top of this. And then I had called here and emailed because I needed that PIN number. But then it was like, oh, you can't do it online now because it was too late. So I came down here and did it. So it was just this year probably. And I didn't know what the process was, if I would be getting a notification or if it was just the email. So, and now I wrote down my PIN number on my license. So for next year, like I'll be in it.
And now we've enabled licensees the ability to go in and on our website and look up their PIN.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, because before there was something with that and I can't remember what it was. So, and I couldn't get a hold of people because I know everyone's busy, the time lapse, but it was, but then we just came down here. So, and went to the fair. So it was a whole good Salem day. Yeah, that was always.
Okay, so did we get your question?
Yes.
So you can get your PIN online now.
I can get my PIN
And
online.
we try to get those out to you, to the licensees 45 days in advance.
Okay, perfect.
More things to come.
Yes.
Like online. License. Working on it. Okay. Any other comment? Okay, and Chair, I do have a review of CEU's OARs and review the website to have to you. Oh, and a number of students at a time, but that's going to be an email, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that should conclude public and district parties feedback. And other board business. So Chair, if there's no other board business, you can adjourn the meeting.
All right, this is Audrey Jones. I don't believe there's any other board business. So the Board of Electrologists and Body Art Practitioners meeting is adjourned at 9:53 a.m.
Okay, thank you everybody for spending your morning with us.
Thank you.